And Coach, playing in front of your home fans tonight, what are you most curious about in terms of expectations and how your team will perform tonight?
Someone just told me it's 4 years since we've had a playoff game here, so that's a big deal. I think our guys are excited. I think we've already gotten our feet wet. We're gonna have a great crowd out there. I'm sure Philly's gonna bring their a section of the crowd, so it should be interesting. Should be fun. It's a fun night for everybody.
Kenny, is there any thought of a potential lineup change to put more scoring with the starting unit and ball handling?
We'll see. But if you look at it, really, we laid down's the wrong term, but our defense our offense has been decent, above average, I would say, 120-something points, 111, I think we've done a decent job offensively. I think offensively, we were very good last game, so that's priority number one. We have to do a much better job in transition defense. We big slippage. We did not rebound the ball well, obviously, and I told the guy we put Philly on the line 74 times in 2 games. So defense is we got to do a much better job. Offense, we'll try to help them, but we kind of do what we do. We'll see. Can we get more ball handlers out there? Sure, that's something we do, but we do that already. We do it a lot.
You talked about doing what you do and just doing it better than you did in game 2. I mean, there's obviously been a lot of talk about, physicality and how chippy this game could be. But I mean, how important is it to make sure that you kind of stick with what got you here in terms of spacing the floor, getting out in transition, and not getting bogged down into basically a half-court fist fight with a team that's a lot bigger than you are?
Yeah, we're not going to turn into the Pistons bad boys. Was that what they call them, bad boys, or the Broad Street Bullies? We're not the Flyers of the '80s. We understand who we are. But that being said, if you don't bring the physicality, and I think our guys understand, if you don't bring the physicality in the playoffs, it's just tough. So we got to do what we do. We have to raise our physicality and our energy level, no doubt about it. But we do have to stick to our identity.
Kenny, when specific to that, when you're dealing with Boban, when he's out there in the second unit, I'm just wondering how you reconcile his size with the way in which he primarily plays. Do you have a strategy that you look to employ differently than you have in games 1 and 2, where he's largely succeeded?
Well, he's a very skilled player, obviously, and he's his size is an issue for us. It gives us a problem. But game 1, I think we did what we do. We got out and we ran and we got them in pick and roll a ton, and it's just that game. They have their strengths, they have their excellent players. We have our strengths, and like Brian said, who can do it better, and then try to limit Boban's offensive rebounding. Try to limit he's shooting the ball really well. We have to contest him a little better. So that there's stuff we can do, but we have to know how we can give them problems.
Kenny, when you look back at the film with the first 2 games, you mentioned the physicality. Was one of the things the screening for D'Angelo, especially when he's guarded by some of the players with length, like Ben Simmons? Is that something that was emphasized?
That's part of physicality. Yeah, our screening wasn't where it needed to be. So that's in the physicality bucket. I think our guys understand that. I think other teams have tried similar strategy. Deny D'Angelo, top block, Joe, and listen, we did the same thing to them in the first game. We had our strategy that tried to slow them down. So you can strategize it a little bit, but and make adjustments. But again, doing better what we normally do will help a lot tonight.
All right, Kenny, you mentioned this earlier, but how beneficial is it to go through this, not only for your fan base, but your players as well, the home playoff game?
I just told Sean Marks, I said, Sean, was expecting to go through this in year 6 and 5, and the fact that we're involved in this and in every sense is I think it'll speed up our process in terms of getting better. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like experiences. These playoffs, a little surprised, you know, being an assistant coach all the time, and I play, there's nothing, you know, this is totally different, and it's going to help me tremendously. It's going to help our players tremendously. Already, it's like, man, it's speeded up 1,000 times, and I think it's going to help us down the road.
Coach, whether through film sessions or talking to the guys, how did you handle that 51-point third quarter? Did you go over it with them, or did you just flush it down the toilet?
No, we didn't flush it. I think we have to feel it. We felt it, and you know, it's funny. You know, I'll tell you my raw emotions. I was more upset with the first half. Like, you know, we were not sharp, and I really sure we looked at what Philly's doing, but really looked at ourselves and all our kind of breakdowns, and it was everywhere. So I was, you know, disappointed, very disappointed, just in our total execution. But then I was optimistic when I really thought about it, because we can do a lot better. Like, I think if we follow our game plan and do what we've been doing all year, we'll play much better tonight and have a chance.
Kenny, you get Jared to your right.
Yes.
You get Jared Dudley back tonight. From your vantage point thus far, what has he brought to you guys in this series thus far, matching up against guys like Embiid and Simmons?
You know, you just can't discount his experience and his IQ, and I'll throw, you know, Ed Davis in there too. I think in the first game they were difference makers. You know, maybe it's not 20-point stat line or 15 rebounds, but I just think those guys, they have an experience, a savvy, a know-how. They also understand the physicality. They've been through this, and I think some of our young guys were a little surprised at how it got ramped up, and those guys, it's great having them back at full speed. I think it'll help us.
Coach, is there a challenge when you have this great crowd and young players? Is there a challenge in trying to make sure players keep their emotions in check and not get out of character, kind of riding that wave of emotion in any way?
Yeah, that's why I think you have to be careful as a coach, right? And you know, sure, you have to play. We got to play with more physicality and you know, more energy, all that stuff. But we also, you know, we like to use the word calm and steady. You know, we can't flail. You know, when we're hit with a punch or the other team makes a 12-0 run. And I thought that happened in the third quarter. It's kind of like, you know, when the Nets weren't very good, it just kind of steamrolled where we lost our principles, we got out of sorts. So it's, you know, regrouping yourself. I think we all know that, you know, and getting a hold of yourself, but staying, you know, understanding what we're trying to do, and being, you know, like I said, calm and steady, and keep trusting what we do.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.